Hey, good morning or goodness, because it depends on when you're watching. If you're watching the video, it might not still be morning. But here we are live. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Sporty King, and welcome to Glue Friday. I'm sorry, Gift Friday. Sometimes you have too many things going on. Gift Friday. I created it because so often we hear TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But I say, what allure does Friday have to that person that took their last breath on Thursday or any other day before that? Therefore, I use what I've learned through Psalm 92 and 2. And that is, it is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your thankfulness in the evening. So I use TGIT. Thank God it's today. And then TGIT. Thank God it's tonight. And I add from that lesson what I got from Matthew 6 and 34. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for tomorrow. Ooh, it doubled up. Today's trouble is enough for today. I'll have to edit that. Okay, it doubled up. But anyway, but isn't that true? Sometimes it does double up. All right. So therefore, you see, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Really, it's trusting God is free. And think about it. What does it cost you to trust God? Not a dime. You have been blessed with the greatest gift that you can get of any day, and that is the gift of waking up. And that still moves us into realizing that TGIT, when we move the T in TGIF to the end, we find what we really must be giving thanks to God for, and that is today. In other words, gift, GIFT. God is for today. And now we know what we really need to be thanking him for, because Gift Friday is the online sharing of one of my original poems and its possible uses to inspire audiences online or in person. Each poem will be my gift to you. What you'll hear here is me read the poem and share this week's gift. Then you'll be able to click on the link and download a colorful keepsake copy for yourself, and I will put the link in after the broadcast. Now, today, this Friday, February 5th, is actually the closeout, the first week of Black History Month, 2021. And it challenges us to remember all this poem challenges us to remember all who've been or felt oppressed, yet through the spirit of the African American. It's going to be coming from my book, I Found Out I'm Dying, A Celebration of Life. A book about the fact that physically we're all dying from the day we're born. Get over it. Sometimes we get caught up in the headlines and we miss the subtitles in life where we should be living in the subtitles. So even as we go through this COVID pandemic, we have to find out I'm dying. You don't have to die from the COVID pandemic. You may die from natural causes, getting hit by a car, a heart attack, so we have to stay positive and recognize that we need to be celebrating this life instead of worrying about losing it. All right. So this poem will speak to the concept of success being about the nerve that it takes to believe in yourself enough to take a stand. In 1994, while in Chicago, I was inspired to write a poem about the movie Sankofa. Now, Sankofa gave us a historical perspective of a female model who takes a Twilight Zone trip back into her roots as a slave. When we meet her, she's on a photo shoot in Ghana, and her photographer is getting her to shift from pose to pose with sexy comments and innuendos, all while an older African gentleman looks upon her work as shameful. Somehow, he gets into her ear and tells her that she must go back and find out who she really is, inferring that she would have second thoughts about how she represented herself as a model or a sex symbol if she saw where she came from. So as we learned in the movie, the Sankofa bird symbolizes going back to your roots. And I'll also attach a clip from the trailer after this broadcast. However, surprisingly, I heard this quote from Dr. Martin Luther King before watching the clip. Here's what Dr. King said. He said, the Negro is the child of two cultures, Africa and America. The problem is that in the search for wholeness, all too many Negroes seek to embrace only one side of their nature. And it was even so, I was surprised to hear words similar to his in the trailer. You'll hear it, where in the movie, the woman will scream, I'm not an African, I'm an American. Don't you recognize me? And so I give you part of that lesson up front because I want you to recognize that this poem asks, do you have the nerve? Do you have the nerve to be who you are? Because there's someone who doesn't want you to be you. And I want you to recognize that you don't want to let them hold you back. And remember, one of my favorite acronyms is in response to the comments I hear people make about how they won't let me get away. And so I say they, They, is the haters, especially you. So you hear a reference to them in the poem. And I want you to recognize that them and they are the haters, especially you, because sometimes we don't allow ourselves to get away. So as referenced in this poem, you'll see that they have no power. You have to surrender to be a loser. Though we must all experience a loss here and there, losing is a state of mind where we give in to the possibility that there may not be another way or another day. The words speak for themselves for anyone who have been felt oppressed and you listen to this poem. And I believe you'll understand why I named it, It's My Last Spirit. I surrendered my freedom, for they could not take it. No amount of suffering, no amount of torture, no amount of torment, no amount of ridicule, no amount of hatred could put my spirit down. In fact, and however, I do welcome my spirit being pushed back, for the pure essence of its strength is in my heritage. My deep, dark past has shed light forth enough to guide me through its mystery and misunderstanding to realize this fact, that I am of a pure future. Excuse me, did I say future? You say, isn't heritage in the past? I say only the beginning of heritage is in the past. This swelling in my chest is a pride that carried and carries forward, now using this vessel of flesh to spread its message. I surrendered my freedom, for they could not take it. No amount of suffering, no amount of torment, no amount of torture, no amount of ridicule, no amount of hatred could put my spirit down. In fact, and however, it sits here, poised to eclipse the next hurdle, anxious and defiantly confident. I feel the whisper of its explosive power disguised in humble gestures that belie its self-image of greatness and prophecy. Stalking, silent, suave, sensitive, supreme, solidified, spirited. Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Would you like to taste it? Breathe deep and see it. Open your eyes and smell it. For only as you release your senses can you comprehend the majesty, the magic, and the mirth of this reunion. And only as you fight back the tears you must welcome will you rest with your anger. And only as you rest with your anger can you find little reason to be angry. For they are only demons, far too powerless to take your spirit. Put your pout to good use. Never surrender your freedom, for they cannot take it. No amount of suffering, no amount of torment, no amount of torture, no amount of ridicule, no amount of hatred can put your spirit down. In fact, and however, This is my last spirit. It's the one that keeps reminding me to push on no matter what. It's the one that thanks me for getting stronger and believing in it, helping it to remain strong, and believing in it, which is myself. You see, my last spirit flatters me with flashbacks of my past. And yes, it's the one that baits me with inklings from my future. My last spirit. So, do you have the nerve? Do you have the nerve to be who you are? Because there's someone who doesn't want you to be. They have no power. You have to remember that we get better when we understand our needs. I'm sorry, I lost myself. Okay. All right. They have no power. You have to remember that you have to surrender to be a loser. Though we must all experience a loss here and there, what you have to recognize is that losing is a state of mind. Losing is a state of mind where we give in to the possibility that there may not be another way or another day. Yet it can be from the losses that we better understand our needs rather than chase success based on our wants. Of course, if you had a wonderful mother like I had, you'd get stuck on either word. Because if I said I needed something badly enough, she said, what you need to do is go sit down and calm your nerves. And if I said I wanted something bad enough, she said, people in hell want ice water. Is there any wonder why I have such a loving spirit and an appreciation of humor and a gift of quick wit than what I got from my mother, making me understand needs versus wants? But still, in all seriousness, we must understand the difference in wants and needs so that we can put ourselves in better position to get both fulfilled. This is your last and only spirit. And it's the one you want and need to share to help us all successfully continue through this current storm of the pandemic by going back to our roots of compassion, understanding, and love. Thanks for enjoying Gift Friday. Remember, your gifts will be posted within the next 5 minutes, so please come back and claim them. You can always go to sportyking.com to see any of the gifts and any of the things that I post and share toward making us all have a wonderful life, a wonderful weekend. Have a safe and have a wonderful Black History Month, and let's have our history year. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you next week. Ciao.